Okay, let's unpack this. If you're listening, I'm willing to bet you've had that feeling, that that deep frustration. You finish reading a whole page, maybe a whole chapter, and then seconds later you realize you can't recall a single thing. Your mind is just, well, empty.
It's that feeling of spinning your wheels. I mean, it's the universal experience of learning, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
You feel like you're pressing the accelerator, but the car's in neutral. You put in the effort, but you've gone nowhere.
Exactly.
And that feeling, that sense of running in place, is what we are tackling in this deep dive. Our whole mission today is to show you that a poor memory it's not some defect in your brain.
Yep.
It's just the result of having the wrong learning ritual.
And that's maybe the most liberating idea in all the sources we looked at, because we are so quick to blame ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. I'm lazy, or I'm just not smart enough.
Right. But the sources, they reframe it so brilliantly. They just ask a really simple question. Are you reading to be done, or are you reading to actually see and find something important?
That one question just changes everything, doesn't it?
It does.
It shifts the focus away from your ability and onto your method. The goal isn't just to finish the chapter anymore.
The goal is to retain it.
Yeah.
And the source has this great line that says, if you're reading without that intention, you are, and I'm quoting here, reading like a person who is asleep.
Wow.
You're sitting there, your eyes are moving across the words, but your brain isn't actually engaged. It's just drifting. And that mental drift, that is the real enemy, not some, limit on your intelligence.
That sets us up perfectly for what the source material calls the most dangerous belief in learning. The idea that just sitting there for a long time will somehow magically lead to remembering.
Yes, the belief that time equals retention. And that's the foundation for, the worst study habits, especially cramming.
The all-nighter.
Exactly. Research shows that if you study for, say, 2 hours straight, your brain remembers the stuff at the beginning pretty well.
The novelty of it.
Right. And it remembers the very end, the conclusion. But that huge chunk in the middle, they call it the slack period, it just turns into a blur. Retention just tanks.
So cramming gives you the illusion of effort. You feel exhausted, so you must have been productive.
But the actual result is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's always made worse by multitasking.
Let's talk about that, because we all think we're multitasking. Reading a report, but also checking messages, thinking about what's for dinner.
But it's not multitasking. The sources call it continuous circuit breaking.
Okay, circuit breaking. In today's work environment, that feels unavoidable. What's the actual mental cost of doing that all day?
Every single time you switch tasks, every time you break that cognitive circuit, your brain has to pay a little tax.
Not tax.
Yeah, they call it a switching penalty. And it's not just about the seconds you lose. It's real mental energy you have to spend just to get back into the original thought.
So if I'm reading something dense and I switch to check an email for just 30 seconds.
You pay the fee.
And then when I come back to the reading,
you have to pay it all over again. And that fee compounds. It's like water carving away at stone. It just wears down your attention and you get fatigued, which just guarantees you'll forget even more.
That's such a critical point. We end up thinking, oh, I have a bad memory, when the real problem is the process we've set up for ourselves.
We're blaming the hardware for a software problem. The brain is just doing what it's designed to do under that kind of pressure.
So let's talk about that design. To understand how to remember, we first need to understand why the brain forgets.
It's a survival mechanism, really. The brain is literally designed to forget.
To forget.
Absolutely. Think about all the information hitting you every second. The hum of your computer, the feeling of your shirt. If we remembered every single one of those details, we'd go crazy.
Information overload.
Catastrophic overload.
Nada.
So forgetting is protective. It's the brain's way of filtering out the noise to focus on what matters.
So memory isn't a storage unit you just fill up?
No, not at all. The source uses a great analogy. It's not a warehouse, it's a gate. A secured gate with a very, very strict guard.
Okay, so what gets past the guard? What are the criteria for entry?
The guard only opens that gate for 3 things. First, anything that's related to your survival or a really strong, immediate need.
Like your job or finding food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Second, anything attached to a powerful emotion, good or bad. If it makes you feel something strongly, it gets a pass. And third, anything that is repeated in the right way.
Let's focus on that last one, repeated in the right way, because that's where most of us get it wrong, right? We just read something 10 times in a row.
Brute force. And the brain's guard just sees that as redundant. It says, I just saw this, why are you showing it to me again?
So what's the right way?
Spaced repetition. You review it now, then again tomorrow, then in 3 days, then in a week. That spacing signals to the guard, hey, this must be important for the long haul. Save it.
It's about being strategic, not just forceful. And this connects back to what lets information in the first place. The source uses that car analogy.
The car analogy is perfect. You decide you want to buy, I don't know, a specific red convertible.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, you see that exact red convertible everywhere on the road.
Yes. I've had that happen. Feels like the whole world bought one overnight.
But the world didn't change. Your brain's filter changed. Before, that information was just noise. Now, because it's tied to your goal, your brain points it out to you. And that's the key to learning.
If you don't approach a book with a real question or a genuine interest.
Your brain's filter just treats it like all the other cars on the road. It gets ignored before it even reaches the memory gate.
So this is all about learning by design, not just by willpower.
Exactly. And that's where the FASTER method comes in. It's the design map.
I love a good framework. Let's break it down. It starts with F.
F is for leg. Forget. Before you even start, you have to intentionally clear the slate. Forget what you think you already know, because that makes you passive.
Right, the I already know this trap.
Forget the other tasks on your to-do list. Write them down to get them out of your head. And, crucially, forget your self-limiting beliefs. The "I'm bad at this" voice.
You have to clear the clutter. Okay, so once you've forgotten, then comes A.
A is for act. This is where you stop being a passive observer. You have to be an active reader. Take notes. Ask questions while you're reading. Underline, but do it sparingly. Maybe one key sentence a paragraph.
So it's about generating output, not just taking in input.
Precisely. If you're not doing something with the information, you're not really learning it.
Okay, so F, forget, A for act. Next is S for state.
Your emotional state. This is huge. Curiosity literally opens the brain up for learning. Boredom or frustration slams the door shut. If you could generate a state of curiosity, you're telling that memory gatekeeper that this is important.
The brain remembers things tied to emotion. That makes perfect sense. Okay, then we get to T, which is teach.
Yes. Learn everything as if you have to teach it to someone else tomorrow.
That's a great test.
It's the ultimate test. It forces you to organize your thoughts, find the gaps in your own knowledge, and simplify everything. If you can't explain it simply, you don't really get it.
But isn't that a lot of work to prepare to teach everything you read?
It is, and that's a fair question. It's about knowing when to use it.
Right.
If this is a high-stakes skill for your job, then yes, that investment is non-negotiable. If you're skimming the news, maybe not. FASTER is for turning knowledge into ability.
Got it. So it's for deep learning.
Okay, next is E for enter.
Enter it into your calendar. This is the accountability piece. If it's not scheduled, it's not real. Learning and reviewing have to be treated like an important meeting.
You have to make time for it, literally. And that brings us to the last letter, R.
R for review, which brings us full circle. You review based on that schedule you just entered. Not when you feel like it, not when you're inspired.
You stick to the spaced repetition schedule.
You stick to the plan. That's how you move knowledge from short-term memory into something you can actually use long-term. That framework is the big picture design. But what about in the moment? When you sit down to learn, we know our attention span isn't infinite.
No, it has a natural drop-off rate. So trying to force 2 hours of focus is a losing battle. The smart way is to work in cycles. Focus, rest, focus.
Like the Pomodoro technique.
Exactly. 25 minutes of intense single-task focus and a 5-minute break. It respects how your brain actually works.
But the sources say that what you do before you start that 25-minute timer is maybe even more important.
Oh, it's everything. This is the 3 magic questions ritual. This is how you prime your brain's filter. Before you read anything important, you have to ask yourself 3 specific questions.
Okay, number 1, how am I going to use this?
And be specific. Not just for my job, but to write the introduction for next week's report.
Number 2, why must I use this? This connects it to that strong need.
It creates emotional urgency. I must use this to get that promotion.
And number 3, when will I use this? That puts it on a timeline.
I will use this on Tuesday morning. If you don't ask those questions, the brain just defaults to, this is unimportant. Asking them is like sending a direct message to the memory's gatekeeper saying, pay attention. This is for an urgent future goal.
It flips you from being a passive passenger to an active driver. Okay, so the timer goes off after 25 minutes. What do you do in that 5-minute break? You can't just scroll on your phone.
No, that would just wash everything away. The ritual is very specific. Timer goes off, you immediately close the book.
Close the book.
Then you write down a few lines answering the question, what did I just learn that was most important? This forces active recall, not just recognition. Then you take your 5-minute break.
And what about distractions? That thought that pops into your head in the middle of your focus time.
Don't fight it. Fighting it just gives it more power, and you pay that switching penalty. Just
Mhm.
have a piece of paper next to you, a worry list.
A worry list, I like that.
Write the distracting thought down and then get laid back to work. Writing it down tells your brain, don't worry, we won't forget this, and it calms that part of your mind down.
This whole system, from faster down to the Pomodoro cycles, it really feels like it's about replacing brute force with a smarter, more elegant ritual.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
It's about moving away from this idea that I have a broken brain and just adopting a better process, a conscious ritual.
The sources wrap this all up with a really powerful metaphor, a choice you have to make.
Yeah, it's the blue pill or the red pill of learning. The blue pill is what we usually do. Read just to get it done, feel tired, and then blame ourselves when we forget. It's learning while you're asleep.
And the red pill.
The red pill is waking up. It means you might read less overall, but you read correctly. You read actively, with intent, and you turn every page into an actual practical skill that you can use.
So if we zoom out, it's really a choice about living more consciously in how you gain knowledge.
It's choosing design over drift, intentional action over just going through the motions.
So the final challenge for you, the listener, the one question that really sums all this up is, how can I learn deeper and live more consciously?
And this brings us to the final, really provocative thought from all of this.
Which is,
The question itself is the answer. By getting into the habit of asking specific, intentional questions, like those 3 magic questions, you are actively guiding your brain to remember. You're not just hoping knowledge sticks, you are inviting it in. You're making sure that memory gate always swings open for you.